Corn and soybeans sunk double digits immediately after the latest supply-demand report was released, but there was better news for cattle. IDA's Michelle Rook has more reaction in markets now.
Well, grains out lower on Monday after the big January data dump from USDA. Arlen Suderman is joining us with StoneX. And Arlen, let's start off with corn down 25 cents. Not surprising when you look at record yield and production from USDA, right?
Yeah, one of my concerns last week coming into this report is the fact that the market was leaning heavily toward expectations of a yield cut and overall supply reductions, and that left it vulnerable to the other side, and that's exactly what USDA did. Surprised me as well that they raised the yield. Big crops tend to get smaller, and this one did not. And then when you look at backward adjustments to last year's stocks, to last year's balance sheets, I don't remember another January report with so many adjustments to the previous year's balance sheets, the previous marketing year's balance sheets. So a lot of surprises in here, and very few of them were positive, most of them negative. The bottom line is we're looking at corn, soybean, and wheat stocks, both increasing both in domestically and globally now.
Well, and when you look specifically at soybeans, you were a little surprised that USDA lowered exports as much as they did, right?
In the January report, correct. They're still a little bit higher than where I'm at on exports, but I have a much higher crush number than them. And so I still have ending stocks closer to that 300 million bushel level.
The fact that we held the October lows, though, in the soybeans, was that kind of a victory, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. When you look at the corn market, that's where most of the pain was, so to speak, in soybeans. And I think the cash market's trading what the supply and demand is on the ground in these markets more than what the futures market. And the futures market's just trying to catch up at this point.
Probably the big surprise in wheat was just that we're only looking at, what, 168,000 less acres of winter wheat than last year. Does that seem possible as low as prices are?
It really surprised me as well. Now, you could say, what alternatives do they have? But still, from what we've been seeing from our boots on the ground, we were seeing bigger reductions in acres this year. Keep in mind, some of the changes of late have been pretty significant, and USDA is working with a much smaller staff to do these surveys.
Good point. Thanks so much. That is Arlen Suderman with StoneX and Markets Now.